Over the past year, Dallas drill has hit a level of attention the city has never had before when it comes to attention on its rap scene. There's a new spotlight on yet another crazy drill scene the majority of the country was unaware of. Some of the rappers in this scene have songs pulling millions of views and an audience tuning in from outside the city, but unfortunately, like all drill movements, it's tied to real beef, and Dallas is in a chaotic situation where it seems like every gang is beefing with every other gang in the city, and the majority of rappers are dissing each other back and forth. So in this video, we'll take a look at this new movement and the scene that's quickly becoming one of the newest drill hotspots. Texas has always been an important place in hip hop, but for a long time, Houston was the hotspot for rap. However, in recent years, Dallas and the surrounding areas like Fort Worth and Arlington have had tons of big names like Tay K, Mo3, Lil Loaded, Big X the Plug, and tons of other artists. These artists have all had individual movements, but around 2023, a new wave of Dallas artists began gaining attention by shining a spotlight on the conflict in the city. In order to understand Dallas drill, we need to cover the main groups involved and the situation they find themselves in. The movement has several groups involved. These groups are mainly located on the south and east side of Dallas, and they basically all have beef with each other. Some of the main groups involved are OTS, a gang located in East Dallas in an area known as Pleasant Grove, Channel 4, a gang from an area called Oak Cliff, located on the southern side of Dallas, OTG, another gang from Oak Cliff, located in a neighborhood called Highland Hills, 5K, a gang also located in the Highland Hills neighborhood, NHG, a gang located on the east side in the Pleasant Grove area, and K4M, a group from an area called Lancaster that is located south of Dallas. The majority of these groups don't like each other and have active beefs. 5K and OTG are from the same neighborhood, so they're allied and have beefs with Channel 4, NHG, OTS, and K4M. OTS and Channel 4 also have beef with each other, and Channel 4 and NHG beef as well. One of the first artists in the movement was Rundown 4, a rapper from the OTG gang in Highland Hills. Rundown 4 had a buzz as early as late 2022 as one of the more poppin' underground rappers on the Dallas scene. In 2023, more new artists emerged. Double O Glizzy, another rapper from the same gang as Rundown 4, began getting attention for his music. Lil Chop and Bang 6, rappers from NHG, got hot on the scene after songs like Oak Cliff Business and We Da Ops took off. And the biggest artist to take off in this new movement was FBG Murda, also known as Beto. Beto is from Pleasant Grove and a member of OTS, and this group actually has beef with the gang called FBG, so Beto's rap name FBG Murda is actually a diss towards them. Beto had other homies in OTS who had been rapping before him like 223 Trey and the real FBGK, but they hadn't seen a ton of success. However, Beto's first solo song ever, Jizzle Smokin', did surprisingly well, running up tens of thousands of views. This early success motivated him to begin taking rap more seriously. This first song was also an example of the regular level of disrespect that would become common in Dallas drill. Jizzle was a fallen member of OTG, the gang rappers Rundown 4 and Double O Glizzy were a part of, and Beto would continue to diss them and a bunch of his other ops as he put out more music. Beto would continue dropping songs like Book Me and Mika World that did numbers as he built up a buzz through late 2023. In February of 2024, he dropped Cleanup Crew, which went crazy, becoming his biggest song up to that point. This same month, he dropped another big song called Smackers. By spring of 2024, his name was starting to buzz outside of the city, and he began doing his first interviews. At the same time that Beto was blowing up in early 2024, another group began getting ready to take off as well.
And just start this like we ain't lose our man, but I can murder. We really same like gang, I was born this be like a fiend.
Channel 4 was one of the previously mentioned gangs, beefing with just about every group mentioned so far. Their main rappers were DeeGlokk and Channel 4 Mark. Their first song that started gaining traction was I Can Merch. They followed this up with Justice for P6, and DeeGlokk also dropped a solo song called K-Man Not Living. As you can tell by that last title, Channel 4 was very disrespectful and dissed their ops constantly, mentioning their rivals' fallen members almost every song. By March, they had some motion, and they would get even more publicity after Channel 4 Mark and DeeGlokk were arrested in a gang sweep. The two weren't held long, got out shortly, and were back on the streets in a matter of days. Going into April, things would skyrocket for Channel 4. DeeGlokk and Wumbo Dean dropped a song called Belt Boys on J Money 1041's channel, and the song went crazy, hitting 1 million views in 3 weeks. No Dallas drill artist had ever done numbers like this, and it brought a huge surge of new attention to the Dallas drill movement and a ton of new fans who were just starting to figure out what was going on in the Dallas streets. With this surge in attention, the beef between DeeGlokk and Beto, the two biggest rappers and their respective groups, would become one of the biggest stories. Beto's clique OTS had been beefing with Channel 4, and they had been dissing each other back and forth occasionally, but in April, Beto dropped a song called Exposing His Ass, where he dissed the fallen Channel 4 member named Traylon, and DeeGlokk responded with a diss on the same beat, dissing people associated with OTS like Hank and Mika. And D titled this diss Message to Ms. Murda. Both songs racked up hundreds of thousands of views. However, this would end up being one of the last songs DeeGlokk was able to make, because shortly after he would end up getting locked up, and at the time of this writing, he's still sitting in jail. This time period from April to late May, when DeeGlokk went viral and him and Beto dissed each other back and forth, was when Dallas drill really blew up outside of Texas. Channels covering the drill scene began posting in-depth documentaries, breaking down the different beefs and explaining lyrics and disses. Reaction channels began making videos reacting to these Dallas drill breakdowns and music videos of all the rappers who were hot on the scene. But despite Dallas getting a new spotlight, there were hardly any artists left to take advantage. By late May, both DeeGlokk and Channel 4 Mark were locked up. DeeGlokk was arguably the hottest new artist and a big reason for the new attention around Dallas drill, so losing him hurt the movement. Rundown 4 had been locked up early on, before the movement even popped off, and while it was on fire in April and May, he was still sitting. By summer of 2024, only a handful of the main Dallas drill artists were free and dropping music. Double O Glizzy was still dropping and doing good numbers. Lil Chop also still had a buzz. 5K, the previously mentioned gang from the Highland Hills neighborhood, had two rappers called Love Bands and 2 Glocks Red, who were able to get some attention on their music. But Beto had the most motion out of everybody in the city. He did a song with Von off 1700, one of the hottest new artists coming out of Chicago, and this collab would also stir up some controversy because Von dissed Jizzle, a member of OTG, one of the groups Beto had beef with. With Von being a big rapper from outside the city, this diss towards someone he didn't even know in the Dallas drill scene got a big reaction, both in the form of threats from OTG members and pages covering the scene. Shortly after dropping the song with Von, Beto would drop his first ever project, Continuing to Go Up. In July, he teamed up with BAKJ, a rising artist from the Fort Worth area, and they dropped a song called D to the Murda that blew up, racking up millions. This brings us to the present day. Dallas drill is on a decline when it comes to attention. DeeGlokk is still in jail, and the movement never really recovered from losing him so early on. Rundown 4 is home and dropping music again. Lil Chop and Double O Glizzy are doing their thing. And Beto is currently the biggest Dallas drill artist, and he's still doing good numbers and collaborating with other up and coming rappers. Things look bright for him, but for Dallas drill as a whole, it looks like the movement's best days are behind it, and it's unlikely that the scene will reach the popularity of drill movements in other cities like Jacksonville, New York, and Philly.